Hey guys, today I'm going to take you inside my creative world of how I go about creating some of my weird, crazy, steampunk, gothic, Victorian pieces of art and some of the tools that I use and the creative process that I go through for each piece. And yeah, if you do like this video, please give it a like and make sure you subscribe, and let's get into it. One of the ways that I go about getting inspiration for my pictures is I love to use Pinterest. It's a social media platform where it's basically picture sharing, and I create a whole bunch of different boards. This is one of my boards called My Little Macabre and it's just full of pictures that I find kind of cute but seriously weird. So say I like this one, for example. I kind of went through this phase where I loved everything with horns. This would be a really great pose for a picture. So I would kind of get influence from this picture, but then kind of put my own vibe on it. So I get a lot of ideas from other artwork and other drawings and photos that I see on Pinterest. Next, I'll do a basic sketch outline of the drawing, and I spend a lot of time making sure that the details are exactly right. When you're doing the kind of drawing that I do, you can't just roughly draw it. You have to draw it exactly as it's going to look when you color it in. But you want to make sure the lines are quite light, because if you put heavy, thick lead lines, it actually interferes with the pastels and the charcoals and it kind of doesn't look quite right. Then once I've got the outline of the drawing, I will go in and I need to color it in. I traditionally use blacks, white and greys, but yeah, just because, I don't know, it's my style. I love colors, I really do. But when I first started drawing this particular style of drawing, I didn't have any colored pastel pencils. I only had black and white, so that's why I sort of started off with black and white. And then it just sort of became a thing. I just liked the way that they turned out when they were in black and white. But I did buy a new pencil color the other day. I bought this one. Let me just draw it for you. What is this? I just got this new maroni kind of red pinky kind of color, and I will be adding that to this girl just for something a little bit different. Now, when I color in, I use pastel pencils mainly. So charcoals, pastel pencils, and I also use a white Prismacolor pencil as well. So I have two blacks that I'm using at the moment. I have just a black, this is actually a charcoal pencil, and then I got this black pastel pencil, and this one are new, and these are Faber-Castell. I love Faber-Castell pencils. They're just a really creamy, well constructed pencil. Like, they're just good quality. And because sometimes, especially some charcoal pencils, when you're using them, they have little scratchy fragments in the pencil, and it sometimes leaves little scratches on your artwork, which stops it from blending and kind of ruins it a little bit. But I haven't found any of those fragments in these pencils so far, so they're fantastic. Then I've been using two different shades of grey. At the moment, I've just got a light grey and a dark grey. I don't think I need any more than these two, because pastels are so blendable. I blend everything. So you can kind of get like a halfway grey in between the two of these just by blending them, or by adding either blacks into it or whites. Now with whites, I have my chalks, but I also use this white Prismacolor pencils. If you've got a kid and they're learning to colour for the first time, get them some Prismacolor pencils. They are the best coloured pencils. They're so creamy. They're not blendable so much like the pastels are, but they're just really high pigmented, super creamy, lovely to use pencils. So I love these. Also the other thing that I use a lot are Copic markers. So I use these guys for the really high precision work that I do. So because a lot of the time, you know, these are quite a cumbersome kind of art tool. It's really hard to get a good point on these guys. So if you're doing really fine work, that's why I go in with the Prismacolors. This is, sorry, not the Prismacolors, the Copic Markers. And these are such a good pen. Like they're just like a marker, but they just draw so like pigmented and smooth, like, and they don't bleed. They're the best. So you can get different types of nibs, but I love these particular nibs. I can't remember what they're called, but they're kind of like an artist brush. And so this is quite bendy, this top here, which means you can get really fine lines, but you can also do sort of, because I do cartooning as well, and you can also kind of do your inking with them. And then the other side has this big fat marker on them. I never use this side though. Yeah, and they're refillable, so you only need to buy one once ever. They're awesome. The next tool that I cannot live without is my pen eraser. I started using this guy back in primary school, but it's freaking amazing, like, because basically it's so small, you know, which means I can get right in to like the edges and stuff with this guy, whereas, you know, if I was using like a proper, like a big chunky eraser, it would just make a mess out of the whole thing. There's like no high precision, you know. This is awesome. But I actually get Faber-Castell erasers, and I could not find any in Perth, so I had to order them online, because if you get the wrong kind of eraser, it doesn't erase, you know. It can just spread gunk all over the page and make a big old mess, and you just ruin your drawing. So you've got to get the right erasers. So important. Then my other tool that I love to use is this little guy. This is a blender. Well, I call it a blender. But this guy is basically just paper wrapped around, and but you can get high precision blending. You know, so when you blend in, because if you blend, I blend sometimes with my fingers, but your finger's obviously a lot fatter than this guy. So if you want to get high precision blending right up to the edge, this is your baby, and I love it. When I used to just use my fingers, and then I found these because the lady in the art shop recommended them, and I have been in love ever since. I love these. So yeah, that's basically how I go about creating my artworks. I hope you enjoyed this little kind of behind the scenes sort of video about how I do my stuff here. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you again next time.